In today's video, I want to share personally my story on why I am motivated to impact education. So just like every good story, let's start at the beginning. In fourth grade, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. My teacher, Miss Bagby, actually let me work with younger students. As long as I finished my work efficiently and effectively, I could go work with younger students. And I remember coming back with this so profound sense of pride and asking her, is this what it's like to be a teacher? And she said, yes. And in fourth grade, the seed was planted. I knew from at that point, I wanted to be a teacher. So fast forward, here I am in the classroom as a teacher for 10 years. And I taught integrated physics, biology, chemistry, speech, health, PE, and 1 year of sixth grade math that I rarely like to talk about. It was my first year teaching. What is Texas thinking when they say you could teach one outside your field? I do not recommend it to be math. But I spent 10 years in the classroom and 10 years coaching on the fields. And I love the fact that I was shaping young adults into being future leaders. And to me, loving that classroom life was all it was all about. And then I decided to move up into leadership. I became an assistant principal at an elementary, then a middle school principal, and the middle school assistant principal. And I spent 10 more years leading campuses across the state of Texas. Now, my leadership wound up at Ed White Middle School in San Antonio, Texas. And let me just tell you, Ed White has a reputation, and I don't know if you've ever worked on one of those campuses, but when they say the Ed White, you're like, there's not a D on the building, but you know what I'm talking about if you have a reputation, and it's typically not a good one. But a lot of times they're like, you're at Ed White? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you got it. Now, all I saw was middle school, 25 minutes from my house, great school district. This is a great job. And to me, I was so excited about it. But when I got into this campus, can I tell you, wow, this was a completely different environment. And ultimately, I thought I was going to be the new sheriff in town and bring a big bad hammer. And to me, I was just going to fix all the problems in the school. I was totally wrong. That school transformed me. We ended up leading the district with 1,149 types of suspensions. Central office coming down and asking us to rethink our discipline issues and how we're addressing behaviors. And that's what started me on this path of a transformation in education. So here I found myself at Ed White Middle School being an assistant principal, dealing out consequences on a regular basis, which I'm okay with. But what I started to recognize inside of me is that slowly education was stealing my why. I was sitting behind my desk with a line of kids outside every day, coming down for a variety of different reasons. And I just started to notice that the same consequences and the same methodology was ineffective at changing students' behavior. And I felt stuck. So much in a way that I felt like education stole my why. I literally wanted to get out of education at one time. Believe it or not, I actually typed up a letter of resignation because after central office came down and kind of dinged us for all the exclusionary consequences, I started to reflect on myself and started to think maybe I need a different career. And in fact, I almost wanted to go work at Walmart. I wanted to be a Walmart greeter. Hey, now, don't make fun of it. Back in the day, that was a prime job. I, at this point, just wanted to wear a blue vest because I got blue eyes and I look good in blue. But in addition, I just wanted to tell people, welcome to Walmart. I wanted to smile again. I wanted to enjoy my job. And I just found myself sitting in the parking lot at days. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this. You sit at the end of a day and you sit in your vehicle and you can't even drive home. You need to let the day to just kind of soak in, and you sit there for a couple moments and sometimes even longer. And then you drive home and you don't even remember the drive home. You're just on autopilot. And I find myself falling into this rhythm, and I just didn't feel successful in schools. So here we are, finding myself not feeling like I have a why, like I'm not motivated to be in education. And then all of a sudden, we were given this opportunity at our campus to pilot restorative practices for the first time. And here we are, I was reinvigorated because here's what I heard. In order to do these restorative practices, I needed to build relationships with the kids, connect with them, love them, care for them, empathize them, do the basic fundamentals. And that inspired me because to me, it wasn't always about the punishment or exclusionary consequences, which I'm fine with. I just wanted something more. And so before you knew it, we had a 3-year pilot going. I looped up with my kids from 6th grade. I had over 300 kids that I looped up them kind of as a dad discipline figure for 3 years. The University of Texas at Austin did a 3-year evaluation on our campus, and we saw changes, dramatic changes. In fact, so much that the Texas Education Agency came and used our school as a model school for the entire state of Texas to learn about what we had practiced at Ed White Middle School. And so so Texas Education Agency came and offered me an opportunity. Now, I say this to make it very clear because they offered me an opportunity, not a job, an opportunity. So there was no money behind this. They said, Kevin, we would love to use your voice at all 20 service centers across the state of Texas, and we need somebody that can speak from experience. And I found myself, oh my God, lured to the opportunity to share my passion and this new dream of transforming education in a new way. And I had to take advantage of it. So I exited from the inside of education, went to the outside, and all of a sudden I found myself consulting and training and supporting campuses across the state of Texas. And then you knew it, before we were across the country sharing our ideas and our beliefs on how we could transform campuses inside out by holding students accountable for their choices and creating connections in each and every one of those classrooms. And the best part about this is I was able to lean into the concept that I had fallen in love with, differentiating discipline. For me, I was able to differentiate discipline just like we did in the instructional arena. We're able to meet students where they're at. And this excited me because not only was I a proponent of consequences and exclusionary consequences, but I started to see the impact of holding students accountable for their voices and choices. And to me, this philosophy of entering the arena in discipline and behavior is where I've always been. But instead of just focusing on restorative practices, I saw an opportunity where we could bring restorative practices and traditional consequences and bring them together. In fact, I created a fun little word called restorational out of it. Now, don't make fun of it. It just means we're a proponent of exclusionary consequences, but we're also in bringing the restorative practices, the responsibility, the accountability for our students to own their actions despite their intentions. And to me, this is what excited me. We were able to develop a methodology of creating strategies, needs, and outcomes to shape a completely different discipline model that still included exclusionary consequences and punishments, but brought in a new piece of accountability that would allow students to see their impact of how they were impacting others negatively and ultimately holding them accountable for their voices and choices in the campus. As a result, oh my God, I cannot tell you, so excited to share some of these data points. But like, for example, in the state of Texas, Dallas ISD, second largest school district in the state of Texas, we saw campus suspensions decrease from over 219 down to 16. We all of a sudden saw campuses go from 117 ISS placements down to 17. It's amazing, the transformation. We saw some districts send 89% students less home. And I just started to see all of these data points show a trending trajectory in that we were decreasing discipline and those behaviors in the classroom. And it's kind of a two-pronged approach. How did we decrease the tier 1 behaviors in the classroom? And we realized that our connection-driven classroom, those 4 proactive tools followed up by accountability, is what was the secret in the sauce. We started to transform campuses and classrooms. We started to see scores go up. In fact, if you go back to our initial pilot at Ed White Middle School, we saw an 89% reduction in suspensions. We saw a 38% reduction in office referrals. I had my highest referred kid who went from 54 referrals down to 4 in one single year. In the state of Texas, we didn't meet state accountability. We didn't meet federal accountability. In fact, I don't even think we could have spelled the word accountability on a test. And how do I know that? We were the first leadership to identify that 56% of our kids were at least 2 or more grade levels behind in reading. But under the current state accountability, not only did we not meet it, we exceeded it. We tied for the second highest score of all middle schools in the entire state of Texas in just 1 year adopting this approach. So for me, differentiating our approach with discipline and behavior and holding students accountable by creating those accountability conversations and creating connections in the classroom was exactly what schools needed to transform. So as you can see, I may have lost my why at one time, but I have definitely regained that. In fact, I love this work. I tell people all the time, this work gave me back my why. I didn't have to give up on education, nor teachers, nor students, or classrooms. I knew that there were the right fits out there. And for me, partnering and collaborating with campuses to see a change factor through differentiated discipline and creating connections in the classroom was the exact 1-2 punch that every school system needs to be encouraged.